You remember the top of the ziggurat. There's something here, but it isn't here, and the contradiction tears at your gut. You look into the world for the pattern, watching the shimmer of mana create the surfaces here. Everything looks crazy with your wizard eyes. Mona has been taught the pentagram, the hidden language beyond language with symbols that only she can see. And you can see the 10 arcanum in the world: prime, forces, fate, time, mind, space, spirit, life, death, and matter. The substance of this world manifests as forces, potential energy that's transferred into kinetic energy. No communication can happen without energy, and energy is always conserved. For every force, there's an equal and opposite reaction. These are capital T truths. When Mona learned that every capital T truth was a figment of her mind, everything changed and she awakened. Now she can see the fundamental forces and with a gentle push, change them. You've already been on a number of arcane adventures in and around the area of Cambridge, enrolled at a mystic school of religious archivists, and in all of those escapades, you've seen nothing quite as gruesome as the sacrificial monument on which you now stand. This is an alternate timeline, and the sheer power of the ideas housed inside the geometric ziggurat has twisted reality. It's now your reality. As long as this ziggurat exists, this reality will exist. This is the curse of fate. Fate is the paths that we all walk through time. It's the edge of uncertainty between determinism and free will. And when you awakened, you deviated your fate so far from the ordinary people confined by notions of normal that things like an alternate timeline attempting to devour our own are now a regular occurrence in your life. The mind, your mind, creates this reality. To you, the workings of mind are subtle and invisible, but you know that there are warlocks who can manipulate the mind as easily as you manipulate gravity. Space too is constructed, and these days it seems it's getting harder and harder to care about when and why. You've experienced the strange sensation of walking from one room and emerging onto a mountaintop. Next to you, on top of the ziggurat, is your companion Parallax. Parallax sees no distance between points. You know that Parallax could tear a hole from this place and into another, and you also know the risks that that brings. The space of this world, like our own, is populated by invisible spirits, a notion given form, patterns of behavior and nature that begin to work their own will. Whatever spirits exist in this alternate timeline may be as twisted and brutal as the temple around you. The spirits connect the living to the world. They create life and in turn create the living. And when there is life, there is change. There's power in life. A will worker can pull energy from the force of life. A wizard can sacrifice of themselves, or, as you see around you, in a less humane manner, they can sacrifice others. The passing from the state of life to the state of death is a journey. Death is the soul's hiding place, brief but infinite. It's a mystery to you, the living. But many seek to unravel the mystery of death, and few escape its clutches. Their physical forms becoming matter, the material through which the world takes its form, the manifestation of the prime pattern, and the medium through which all forces are sent. Thus, the pentagram is balanced between the 10 arcanum. Each arcanum is inextricably linked to the other 9, and none may exist without the other. Which brings us to what you see with your wizard eyes looking into the ziggurat. The force of magic looks for a way here. You can see the world as twisting gears. There's a true world, a world where you are used to the gears turning in an orderly fashion with circles and regularly placed methodical teeth. You can see that world in a direction that is neither up nor down, left nor right, far on the edge of your peripheral vision. But here, the gears of reality are alien, warped and twisted. They're nearly incomprehensible, but through the differences, there's commonality. And searching the hellish worldscape before you, you can see that all the arcanum are still discernible from each other and still present. You can see the gear of time. It is strained and compressed, near to breaking. And you can see the gear of fate pushing down on it. You can see the life of the New England forest, which pulses with warped distortions that echo through your pattern, turning each cell as if it were its own collection of gears. The warp echoes through Parallax. It echoes through your other companion, Sanjata, and lingers with him, resonating longer in his mind, ringing like a bell. The three of you tense at the edge of the ziggurat. The structure decorated with dead matter and gore, and next to you is a tear in reality that seems to widen with each pulse from the center of the stone. Looking into the pit, you see clearly marked the coiled symbols of death and time. The three faces peer into the ziggurat, and time itself breaks. You're on a rocky shore. You're underneath your family's car as a child. You're standing on top of the ziggurat, your shoes wet with blood of the men you just killed. What do you do?
Am I on the beach now?
You are, but you're also on top of the ziggurat.
Ah.
Jumping in between the two time streams, you're not entirely sure. For a moment, you feel like you are that child underneath the family car. The workings of its mechanical underside. You reach out to touch it. You reach out to touch the viscera around you on the ziggurat. You reach out and you touch the stone, and all feelings are the same.
I I want to find out. I see the machine in front of me.
Yes.
I want to find out which part or parts are broken.
You can tell with your prime sight active that the part that's broken is time. There's something wrong with the gear of time here.
Yeah.
It's like it's missing a chunk. It's like it's been strained by the other gears. But you can also tell that there's something inside the ziggurat, something that's like a heart beating, filled with death and time. Would you like to roll an unveiling check to examine anything in particular?
What's unveiling?
Unveiling is using your mage sight. It'll be a prime plus gnosis roll to essentially examine the pattern more closely.
Yes, I would like to do that on.
You're only going to get to take like one or two actions here before you are brought back into reality.
Okay. I want to do it on the heart in the ziggurat.
Roll that dice pool then of prime plus gnosis, with 8s, 9s, and 10s being successes on a 10-sided dice.
And I rerolled 10s?
And you re-roll 10s to get even more successes.
2.
So the first thing is that just having a prime sight up allows you to note the presence and composition of any spell or attainment, and you can tell that this is a spell of some kind. It actually resonates with Parallax's Nimbus. You just saw that alternate version of Parallax, and it could be that he was the one who cast or anchored this spell. Using your scrutiny against it, you got a success. And you can choose to spend mana from your personal pool to add even more successes to this roll. What's going to happen, though, is your successes are enough to reveal the first layer of what's happening inside. And what's happening inside is that there are words. You can see them, strange, alien words. It's like your own Atlantean runes, the language beyond language, but it's different, perverted. And those runes, those words, oh yeah, you cover your eyes before they burn into your mind, but you can tell that down there, whatever is holding those words is holding this reality here. You turn to Sanjata and Parallax and you say,
What's Parallax alter ego called?
I think it's also Parallax, right? The same. We're technically the same person. It's just he's in this other reality that got exposed to that book, the Magna Infinium, whereas my character has not had that privilege yet.
There were also a number of titles that were given, but they were in another language. You didn't entirely understand them.
I'm going to say to my Parallax. Wait, is this going to be my second action? Because I want my second action to be something else.
Then don't say anything. What do you do?
I want to try to Supernal Dispellation on the that's when I dispel the spell.
Yeah.
On the words on the heart, the one that evil Parallax cast.
Okay. You start to weave the spell and feel it resisting you. You can tell that it has a physical anchor that needs to be destroyed. You can weaken it with your dispellation, but until the object is destroyed, it will still exist. But as you weaken it, roll your prime plus gnosis.
And this is one of my rotes. So do I?
So you also add whatever rote skill you have to this. And if you'd like, you can use high speech to add another 2 to this roll.
Okay, so it's Occult. So I'm going to add Occult. It's 2. And Atlantean and my wrench.
The most you can add is +5. And right now you are doing that. You are adding +5 to this roll.
Is it +2 for Atlantean or +1 for Atlantean?
So it'd be +2 for high speech, but then it's normally +2 for your tool and it's +2 for your occult, but it maxes out at 5. Okay. So you're just going to add 5 to your gnosis plus prime, okay, which is a lot.
Just 3.
Okay.
Wait, can I re-roll that with a mana or a willpower?
You can add 3 dice with willpower. And since this is our first session, I'll let you do that reflexively. But normally you have to declare before the roll.
Okay. So you said add 3 dice?
Yes.
Two more.
5 successes. That's an exceptional success, and you regain the willpower that you just spent. You feel the paradox of this world pushing back against you. It tells you that your magic is impossible, threatening to weaken it. Would you like to try to contain the paradox inside yourself, or would you like to release it into your spell?
Contain it. I need my spell to work.
Roll a single dice. Die.
2.
All right. Paradox doesn't occur, and your spell fades this reality into whiteness, and you wake up on a stony beach.
Did it work?
Parallax is near you. He's semi-unconscious, fitful in his own dreaming sleep. There is the sound of waves, the water red from seaweed. It's daylight out, morning. There are thin trees that dot the coast here, and in the distance, structures, though your eyes are blurry as they adjust to the sunlight and to this new reality. Looking across the water, you see a woman. She's walking on the waves directly towards you.
I'm going to kick Parallax. Hey, wake up.
Oh, oh God. What?
1, there's an alternate timeline of you wreaking havoc on everything. Have you seen the gears of this world? It's so messed up. 2, we have company. And I turn my head towards the lady walking on the water.
Victoria, would you like to describe your ghostly character at this moment?
Sure. So I am a young woman around 19 years old. I am pale, though exceptionally so at the moment, I suppose, and long dark haired, relatively tall, yet oddly forgettable in appearance at the same time. She's wearing a tattered, sort of really fancy gown that's all ripped up and dirty and muddy, and the bottom's been sort of pulled off. And her hair wasn't a nice updo, but it's kind of all over the place now. And probably most arresting is that she has 2 things in her arms. One is a large urn, and the other is a human skull.
Classic carrying a skull around.
Like you do.
Is that a skull?
I think it might be.
Metal.
It's not
And
the word I would use. All right. Well,
Were you going to say something, Victoria?
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead. But if you're done, I'm going to, while walking, lean down to said skull. Do we know who that is?
The ghost around you whispers, "Trust no one. You must make your own path. Be careful."
That's a no then, Byron? Okay. They keep sort of progressing towards the shore.
The ghost also says, "I have been long dead. I will know few in this world, and the ones that I do know, you must avoid."
It's not much help right now, Byron, but thank you.
Her voice comes to you across the water as an echo, but you don't hear the second voice, almost a whisper.
I'm going to sit down next to Parallax. I wonder if it worked. Does time seem any different now?
I mean, it not to me, but do you know how we ended up here? Last thing I remember, I was in a cave, and I feel in my breast pocket, and I pull out a pocket watch. I'm like, oh, neat. All right, I stuff that back in. So, what were you saying about me? An alternate me doing what now?
Yeah. Parallax. It looks like there's another timeline where you've encountered some some evil magic, and this alternate you is now breaking our timeline. It's pushing through and breaking into ours. So
Oh wait, you mean when we were at that ziggurat and stuff? Oh yeah, no, I
Yeah.
I threw him through like some sort of portal. I'm not sure what happened to him.
Yeah, he needs to
He
die.
could be dead. He could be dead. I don't know. But
Yeah.
we're here now. That weirdo is talking to that skull in her hand. I think we need to
Hey,
address that.
don't focus. Don't try to change the subject. This is you. We're talking about you right now.
Yeah, but you're yelling at me about something that other me did.
As the ghostly figure reaches the shore, all three of you sense something on the edges of your perception. It feels almost like a wave of power. And Victoria, it's as Ermengarde takes her first step onto the rocky shore that you feel this. None of you currently have active mage sights.
I turned mine on.
You can see that the figure is a ghostly version of themselves. It's like they're dead, but there's also heavy death metal magic, heavy death magic all around. And you think that it might be some sort of active spell effect. You also can sense that this area is tied to both life and death, and there's something fateful happening. And that's what you sense with your prime vision. You can examine anything further if you would like.
Cool.
And other sites will also unveil different secrets.
I'd like to turn on my fate sight.
Ooh. With Fate Sight, Fate Sight highlights anyone who experiences dramatic failure or success, and it reveals the presence or the use of a destiny, but not the details of that destiny. What you can tell is that all three of you have some sort of joined destiny. You also can tell that Parallax has a looming destiny, and you can sense that there's something hanging over him.
Is it death?
Do you want to examine his pattern more closely?
Yes.
All right. So it's not a spell effect, which means that you'll be taking a -3 penalty, but you can roll your fate plus your gnosis to examine this. -3. Are you using any yantras, any tools or languages as you do this?
Yeah, I'm gonna whip out my
Wrench?
wrench. Look through it. Right at Parallax.
All right. So the
What are you
wrench
doing?
is a dedicated tool. It adds +2. So that's only a -1 total. So it would be fate plus gnosis -1.
And then can I also speak in Atlantean?
You can. It's going to take you a little bit of time to do this because it'll take a second round to apply the second yantra. But this is very visible to you, Ermengarde. She's just doing it out in the open. She's speaking in words that don't sound like any kind of words that you've heard before. And you kind of recognize this girl. She looks very familiar. You think that you might have seen some YouTube videos that she's posted. Give me a intelligence plus internet occult check. And Charlotte, feel free to roll that spell while we.
And internet is my like specialty in occult. So do I roll an additional dice? Is that how that works?
That's exactly right. Anytime you have a specialty, you add +1 to this dice roll.
And is it important that I tell you how many dice I roll or just how many successes I get?
Just how many successes?
Anything over a 7?
That's right. 8, 9s, or 10s. And 10s re-roll. 2 successes. You recognize this as Mona. This is someone who posted an occult blog at one point. They used to be very active, and when you were like 13, you read a lot of her stuff. But now she hasn't posted as much recently. Her material has become less relevant to your life, so you found other sources. It's kind of like seeing a childhood hero. And Charlotte, how many successes did you get? 4 successes. You see the thing hanging over Parallax as a looming dark blade. The blade itself seems to be threatening his very life. You sense that Parallax has something important to do, and that fate will involve a sword.
Oh, that's the blade hanging over him?
You also feel that Parallax's choice will determine what happens with that other timeline. It's connected to him.
Mm.
Victoria, what does Ermengarde do as she reaches the shore? Anything? Just watches?
So is going to get up to the shore, momentarily kind of side mouth to Byron, the skull. I think I know her. And then, like, in looking closer, Charlotte, do you have, like, your big cog halo going and things?
Yeah, I have
Or
a giant my nimbus, a gear halo slowly revolving around my head.
okay, so I'm going to initially do the, like, pushing my hands like really hard into my eyes and then opening them and doing that again. And then sort of shrugging, because I did recently just talk to a giant crow in death, so I mean...
You can
and I'm going to step forward and kind
of... when you look at them after rubbing your eyes, you can see that they are alive and that they're like... First of all, they're the first living people that you've seen, and you didn't know that living people could glow like this. They both kind of like pulse with an energy. Unlike Byron, who is kind of still, and you can see threads tying Byron to the skull that you're carrying.
Okay. The squid. Moan? You had a blog that I loved for years. I mean, it's kind of dull now, no offense, but it was real good when I was younger. Is that really you? Do you know a large crow? You're alive? You're alive? Am I alive? Mona?
Hey, it's great to meet a fan. You have a spell on you.
Can I see that I'm ghosty?
Yes,
still?
you can. You can kind of tell that you are walking on water, kind of floating in a way.
Okay.
There's something strange about you. And you sense that if you wanted, you could turn it off by creating another gate here and walk.
Okay. I like look at my hands and I go, did I do this? Byron, did I do this?
We did this, he says in his strict formal tone.
My apologies. Don't be offended, okay? This is really weird and new, and
of course.
That's Mona.
I
You
thought you should know.
And I look at her and go, I think I'm gonna try to turn it off. How do I have to roll to do that, or does it just happen? Can I just step out of it?
Why don't you roll for this one? It's going to be death plus gnosis. And you just need a single success.
Death.
Are you using any tools as you do this?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I just lost that. Well, I got a single success.
All right. As you cast magic, it seems so strange. You're like become reality, and you can feel your mind pushing back against that notion. Every time you cast a spell, something called paradox happens. Roll a single dice for this situation. Normally, I would ask you if you wanted to explain it, but this time, nothing happens. You just kind of pass into physical reality. It's like there's a wall, you're walking through it, and as you do, you phase, becoming material, and land on the rocky shore. The shore here is sharp brown rocks. There's no real sand on this beach. And there are cliffs that proceed in either direction, both the left and right. The cliffs are fairly steep and look like they would be a difficult climb. The left side has a large stone castle in the distance. And on a peninsula to the right, you see extravagant houses. I suppose to Ermengarde, they're fairly nice houses. They're on the beach, which means that they must be fairly expensive. And in front of you, there is pristine, untouched woods with thin, tall trees.
That's whatever you did. You look more human, alive. What's your name?
Ermengarde Ward. Yourself?
Oh,
well, Mona, of course.
Yeah,
right.
And here is Parallax. He's in the process of destroying the world. And I shoot daggers at you, Parallax.
Charred.
Okay.
You're gonna fix that.
Weird. Okay. What, you're being weird right now. You're both being weird. I saw you speak. Is Ermengarde, was it? Yeah, I saw you talk to that little skull of yours earlier. That's weird. What's up with that? So you're doing it again.
No, obviously not. Don't reveal anything. Who are these people? What's this Mona that you speak of? Tell me later.
Okay. It's not important. Who are... Parallax is not even a name. It's an idea. Do you know the Wards? Either of you. The Ward family.
Oh, no.
Should I roll for it?
Yeah, do you have dots in politics?
I believe I do. Let me check. Yes, I do. I have one.
Yeah, give me a intelligence politics check then.
One.
You believe that there are some Boston City councilors with that name. There was like 2 of them. Now, you haven't heard about any awakened people named Ward, but you know that mages use secret mage names. You also get the feeling that Ermengarde Ward, with your fate site up, is this person's true name.
Cool. I'm gonna you're gonna see my eyes widen a little.
So, what? I saw the face. What are you thinking of right now?
It's a girl thing. I'm gonna talk to her alone, and I'm gonna kind of be like, "Come with me. Let's talk a little in private."
You didn't answer my question. Do you know the Wards?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna talk about it over here.
You step to the side next to a tree, which has a sign that says, "Private property, no trespassing. Trespassers will be shot."
Okay. Are we far enough away from Parallax?
In theory, Parallax, you're a space mage.
Yeah, I'm totally gonna scry their conversation.
Okay. You know that Mona will be able to see you do this because she's got Mage Sight up right now.
Ah, you're right.
Give us privacy, Parallax.
Is there any way I can roll to make it more covert? So she maybe like right above them, so she doesn't look up and see it. Maybe.
If she looks at you, it will be clear that you are casting a spell, but you could try to do it subtly with a roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it subtly with a roll. I'm gonna try doing that.
Maybe a wits plus stealth check.
Yeah, I think I have stealth. Let's check that out. I actually don't have stealth, but I have subterfuge. Can I make that work in some way?
Yeah,
Right.
you can. You could tell a lie about what spell you're about to cast. You'd be like,
Yeah. Actually, that's a great idea. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna just cast a spell, and if she calls me on it, I'll say something.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll do that scry spell. And actually, do I have? Actually, I think I might even have scry as a rote. I do.
Nice. So
Excellent.
that means you'll add a skill to this roll. Now, to cast a spell at a location that's not immediately at you, so like at sensory range, will imply a -2 reach penalty. But you'll be getting a bonus equal to, do you know what skill you have tied to that rope?
I'm looking it up right now. It's intelligence investigation.
So yeah, you'll add your investigation to this roll.
All right, yeah, that's perfect. They'll cancel each other out then. So that's the case. Then
and because space is not your primary arcanum, you also will take a mana for this. It'll cost 1 mana to cast this spell. Oh wait, no, it's a rope.
Yeah, it's a rope. Yeah, I was about to say.
Ropes don't cost mana.
Hell yeah. Yeah, let's roll some dice. So, actually, what do I have for? Yeah.
And why don't you two have that conversation, Charlotte? Wow, you're being spied on.
I want to know if I notice it first.
Okay.
So I got 2 successes.
Yeah, you can create a scrying window wherever you would like, or just displace your hearing to that place. While you are scrying through this, you will not be looking out of your body. While you are hearing through this, you will not be hearing through your body.
Yeah, I'm just gonna displace my hearing. I'm not gonna open a window or that sort. Yeah.
And Charlotte, you want to notice this?
Yeah, as we've found a good spot, I want to look back at him and make sure he's not like trying to eavesdrop.
Yeah, you're standing in the trees next to that sign. He's back on the rocky beach, and you can see that he is casting some sort of space spell. He's using his rope mudra, so he kind of like makes a small gesture, and you get the sense that he's casting a space spell, but you're not entirely sure without examining him and his pattern. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
All right. That will take a. Are you switching sight to prime sight?
Yeah.
So why don't you roll prime plus gnosis?
Just one.
With 1 success, you can tell that it's a space spell, but you can't tell what he's doing.
Can I see if the magic is coming towards us?
No, you can't.
Okay. I'm gonna yell over at Parallax. Hey! I told you to stay out of it!
Hey, who's out there? You hear a voice from the woods.
Huh?
This beach is private property, you kids.
Oh, sorry. Where should we go for a nice, relaxing walk on the beach?
You see through the trees, maybe 60 feet away from you, that there is a open path. And beyond that, there appear to be green fields in the very distance. A man dressed in a bow tie and working pants. He's got a little cap pulled on. It kind of looks like a uniform. He's a little bit pudgy, but he's also muscular. Oh, get in. And he's holding a pitchfork, which he had been using to move stuff on the ground here. And he says, "This whole place is private property."
Oh, please excuse us, sir. We washed up on the beach. Could you direct us to the exit of this beautiful private property?
You washed up. You two are having this conversation through yelling. Are either of the other two of you doing anything during this conversation?
Turned immediately away. So like this person not see what my face is, right? Like,
Yeah, I think I'm eavesdropping in on this conversation, so I'm just like, I'm out of the distance. He doesn't even know I'm there. Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, this is bad timing.
Yeah.
Let's see how Mona handles this.
You want to give me some sort of social check in this situation, Charlotte? How does Mona handle this situation? Are you trying to lie your way out?
No, I'm not lying.
You want to use persuasion?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to persuade him that you just need help and that you didn't intend to be here.
Of course. Because we didn't.
Yeah.
So it's just persuasion?
Persuasion plus one of your abilities.
Can I do
Manipulation, presence?
wits?
Nope.
Presence. One success.
With one success, it's clear that this guy is distrustful of you. He says, "Well, the only way is through the main road. You got to come this way."
I don't want to go that way.
Okay, give us some time to pack up.
What are you doing down there? Yeah, so.
I told you we washed up. We're all wet.
He's going to start moving through the forest towards you.
Okay. I'm going to put my hands on Ermengarde. Ermengarde, and like say really, really quickly, listen, I think, wait, before I do this, I know she's a mage. I can tell that she's new. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put my hands on her shoulders and say, I'm so sorry we have to do it so quickly with not that much explanation, but I think I believe you're a newly awakened mage. You've just found out magic exists in this world. I will explain everything you want to know. I've never encountered a newly awakened mage before, but I myself went through it, so I can help you through this. As long as we keep our cool and like leave through this area, and then I can help you. I'm sorry.
You know that if she is a newly awakened maid, that it is your responsibility to explain to her how magic works, and any crimes that she commits are now on you.
Okay.
Oh, this is fun.
Yeah. So yeah, like just like keep low, don't do any magic unless necessary, and we'll get through this and I can explain more.
Don't do magic? Can we move away from the groundskeeper, please?
I think he's coming to us. If you want, I can hide your face if that's what you're worried about.
Like, let me stand behind you?
I I think can I?
You can bend light, turning things visible and invisible, creating
Yeah.
shadows and bright light.
Okay. This better go well. I haven't cast anything else yet, right?
Correct?
Okay.
This is your first.
Before this man makes it into our view, I'm going to cast Spell of Invisibility on my new friend.
You tell me that you're doing that, or are you just going to do it?
I am. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Do I have permission to make you invisible?
Are you going to send me back to death, to the
Yeah.
tombs of the crow?
Nope, just gonna make you invisible.
I mean, I've been that way my whole life. Fine.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna quickly look through my wrench, speak the words, and try to cast the spell.
You can either look through your wrench or speak the words.
I look through the wrench.
Okay. Looking through the wrench, you see the light bouncing off of Ermengarde, and you will that light to bend, twisting out of the way so that none hits her. Roll a forces plus gnosis, and then we'll roll for paradox.
Okay. Do I add 2?
You do add 2.
These dice haven't been really good to me so far. Oh, so good. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I re-roll these 3 10s.
Whoa.
5, 6, 7. I rolled 3 9s.
Gone. Are you down any mana or willpower?
Yeah, I'm down most of my mana, but none of my willpower.
You regain a point of mana as you cast this spell.
Hooray!
And you also gain a arcane condition. Your next spell, your next forces spell that you cast will be empowered, being more powerful as the gears turn favorably upon your casting.
Yay. Okay. I'm going to turn to invisible Ermengarde and say, tread lightly.
Hey, weren't there 2 of you? The guy says as he comes towards you. He's pushing away some bushes.
Yeah, he's over there.
Parallax down on the shore. What do you do?
Seeing as I just saw her deceivingly point him in my direction, not too happy about that, by the way. Yeah, what do I do? Oh man, well, since she's put me in this position, I mean, does it look like there's anywhere for me to get cover? I mean, it is a beach, so I imagine no.
Oh, you're really right out in the open.
Yeah, I am going to cast a ban on this guy. So basically, he's going to be. My plan is to sort of get him or stuck in the forest. So no matter how much he walks, he's basically just going to keep walking in this forest. He's not going to make the beach line.
Yeah. So I would say that spell is not quite a ban spell, which prevents something from entering your area, but that is a space spell that you are capable of casting.
All right, cool.
It's an improvised space spell, and it's going to cost you a mana.
Yep.
And you would roll your Gnosis plus space to do it. Also, if this guy's a sleeper and he begins to suspect that something is wrong, it may make your paradox worse.
That's fine. My guy's narcissist. He doesn't care.
Okay.
So yeah, let's roll space and gnosis. Make this happen. Oh yeah. That's bunch so far. Yeah.
Are you using any tools as you do this?
Yeah, that's use my newly found pocket watch. Does that add +1?
Yeah.
Sweet. Oh. Sweet. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Wow. You don't spend that mana.
Excellent.
Check your watch, and you imagine that it would take him a lot longer to cross through that forest. And it does. He's wading through trees. He's wading through trees. He's wading through trees, but he's not really getting any closer. His brow wrinkles in frustration, but he doesn't seem to notice anything peculiar yet.
Excellent. Well, with this newfound time to get the hell out of there, I'm going to start making it. I mean, so I had the castle at one side and then the nice little sort of village-esque place on my other side, right?
Yeah, looking more closely at the buildings to your right, you can see the roof of, it looks like a large apartment complex somewhere through the trees. And then beyond it, there are some very nice mini mansions. They're not quite full mansions, but they're very nice houses.
All right. I guess I'm going to sort of beeline it to the complexes and see if I can't get to a road where I look a little bit less conspicuous in the open.
He told us where the road was.
He did say, and you overheard him say, you have to come this way to get on the road.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We want to get on that road.
To navigate your way to those houses, you'll have to cross some rocky shore, which means that you'll have to make some skill checks to get there in this case.
Very well. All right.
So you're booking it as fast as you can?
Well, I feel like I got some time with that spell, so I'm going to move briskly, but not like full sprint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do like athletics checks to Dex athletics. Okay.
Dex athletics sounds appropriate.
So is he running in the direction of the road?
No, him. Parallax
Yeah.
is going to the right towards some buildings over on the right.
Yeah, but the guy pointed to the left where the road was, right? Through the
He
woods?
actually indicated that it would be back towards him. The direction that he is coming from is the direction that he inferred.
And he was from the left, right?
He is from directly in front of you in a way. He's in the woods.
Okay.
Left is a big castle and more cliffs.
Okay.
Successes on that roll, Parallax?
I got 3 successes.
Taking your time, you nimbly hop from rock to rock, making your way up the shore. You hear the man's voice yell, "Hey, you can't go that way, way." There's an echo as his voice is sucked through that space distortion towards you. Mona, what do you do?
I want to. I want to. Is there a way for me to find the fastest route to that road?
That would be a space or fate spell. A fate spell could take you upon the fastest route if you
Interconnections?
Interconnections will allow you to see the connections between things, but not the nearest road.
How about Lucky Break?
A lucky break could have you break away in a direction that gives you a bonus to some sort of roll to evade or to find the road.
I'm going to do it.
Okay. Yeah, roll that route. Roll your lucky break. And what are you doing with this lucky break? What kind of lucky break are you trying to have?
I want to reach that road.
Okay. Roll lucky break then.
Okay. It's fate.
So fate plus gnosis plus your rote skill for this skill.
Which is investigation 2. Investigation.
And would you like to absorb paradox or would you like to release paradox?
I would like to. release it.
Okay. So you'll be releasing your paradox into this spell. Roll your dice.
Can you explain to me what that means again?
Basically, if you contain the paradox, you can get hurt. Think like in Stranger Things when Eleven casts spells, she like bleeds from her nose. That could happen to you.
Yep.
Or you could get a headache, et cetera, et cetera. But by releasing it into your spell, instead, you will essentially allow the dark forces that corrupt magic to gain traction on your spell. So while it may seem like a lucky break, if your paradox happens, it might in fact be an unlucky break.
Okay. I'm going to take it within me then.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. 3.
All right. So now, because this is not your primary arcanum, it's a fate spell, you're going to roll, and you're going to roll 3 dice of paradox, which is normally 2 dice. You're using a tool, but you're gaining bonuses.
A 1, a 7, and a 0.
Roll the 0 again.
2.
You take 1 point of bashing damage as your head starts to hurt as you see all the different paths before you. You can tell that the best way to reach the road is to go diagonally through the woods, not towards the apartment complex where Parallax is going on the shore, but rather straight through the woods, kind of like at a V to this guy.
Towards the guy?
Not directly towards him, but kind of in his direction. It's kind of like he's coming to you and you're going away.
Okay.
Parallax is going directly along the shore.
Okay. Yeah, we got this. Let's go through the woods. He can only see me. I'm going to go right to the quickest way to the street. And hopefully with my lucky break, I won't run into this man. Okay, let's go.
And Parallax is going in a different direction. Are you trying to bring him with you, or are you going to let him split off?
Can I, so I can like transmit waves. Would it cost another spell to just whisper to him, like throw him my words?
It would be another spell to do that.
Yeah,
But-
it's too many.
Yeah, it'd be another 2 dice of paradox, essentially.
No, I'm just gonna go.
Okay. Parallax, you see Mona, but not Ermengarde, go through the woods rapidly. Not towards this guy, who pauses for a moment and like looks around and says, "Wait a minute. You think that he's noticing something strange happening. Charlotte, would you roll a Dex Athletics +1 check to make your way quickly through the woods?
Yes. 1, 2, 3.
With 3 successes, you are booking it through these woods. There's a little handmade path here that looks like a few people have walked down, and you are running along the edge now of that meadow field that you saw before. In that field, you notice that there are broken columns and strange statues. One of them looks like the head of a snake erupting from the ground. And with your peripheral mage sight, you can tell that it is magic. There is magic on that statue. In fact, this whole area seems to be thrumming slightly with some sort of hidden magic.
I'm psyched.
Yeah. Do you want to pause and look at that statue?
For like half a second.
Okay. You stop and you look at the statue, roll Prime plus Gnosis. And while you do it, Parallax, what are you doing?
So I'm on top of this ridge line behind the rocks, right?
Yeah, you've now climbed a significant number of cliffs. You can see that there's about a 5-foot jump next in these rocks if you wanted to continue in this direction. And then there's more cliffs up to what looks like a large apartment building.
Yeah, that's a big jump. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I guess I could. All right, yeah, screw it. I'm gonna keep trudging along. I'm gonna make that jump, that gap.
Okay.
Let's roll.
The strength or dex plus athletics check.
I think my strength and dex are the same. Yeah, they are. Yeah. I only got one success. Is that going to be enough?
You leap towards it, and you leap a pretty good leap, but on the other side, your feet slip. And a couple things happen. One is that you take a point of bashing damage as you cut open your leg. You skin your leg, essentially. For a beat, which is essentially like part of an experience, would you like to turn that failure into a dramatic failure?
Oh, boy. I do.
Okay, so mark off a beat and you take a condition. That condition is limp. As you have gained a limp, you kind of like hit the other side, you slide, skinning your leg, and you fall part of the way into the hole. You manage to catch yourself, but you badly injured your leg. Charlotte, I'm going to say that you don't see this because you're examining the statue, but Victoria, would you give me a wits plus composure check to see Parallax fall?
Yes.
Charlotte, how many successes on that prime gnosis?
3.
With 3 successes, as you scrutinize this thing, you can spend more mana to gain successes on this, or you can take those 3 successes.
Just the 3.
You can tell that this is something to do with awakened magic. You can tell that it is prime and matter magics that are infusing this statue. And you think that it is associated with the practice of making. Now, making or creation is actually a very powerful discipline. Whoever created this magical object was a very powerful mage.
Oh, God.
You can also tell that it's emitting heat. It's like warm, and you can see the waves trickle through the gears of temperature. Victoria, successes on that roll? 1. You hear a noise as Parallax slips, and you turn and you don't see him anymore.
Oh no. Parallax. And I point behind us where he should be.
What? I thought he was on the rocks.
You see him now as he pulls himself out of, I assume, Parallax, what do? You're pulling yourself out?
Yeah, definitely trying to climb myself back out, I guess.
I'm going to say it doesn't take a roll to do this. You just do it. You pull yourself back up.
Excellent.
You don't necessarily see Mona or Ermengarde, and you're not necessarily looking for them.
No. Yeah, I'm doing my own thing right now.
If you want to give me a wits composure check, it would take 2 successes to see that he's injured.
Are you saying that to me?
I was thinking Charlotte, because you've already rolled a wits composure. You see him now, though. You see him rise up.
1 success.
Yeah, you just see him. He's slipped.
I'll say, he split up. We'll meet him on the road. Let's go. There's a really powerful mage who lives here. I don't know anything about them. We don't want to encounter someone we don't know anything about. Let's go.
All right. Running through the woods, further and further from Parallax, you can see a massive mansion up on a hill. In Ermengarde, there's a hedge maze. There's a hedge maze very similar to a hedge maze that you've been running through.
Yeah.
The building is a different building than the one that you were in before. So you know that this is not the exact hedge mage, probably, but it looks so strikingly similar with 20-foot tall, thick walls of green. There are strange purple flowers that grow through it. And at this distance, you can see some sort of white obelisk protruding from the center of the maze.
The one I was in did it have an obelisk too, or did it just have a fountain?
A fountain in the very center.
Okay. I grab onto the back of Mona's shirt to like stop Mona instantly. We can't go near that.
No, we're not. We're getting on the road. We're leaving this place.
But the road can't go past the house in the hedge. I'll explain it later, but we cannot go near that. There's nothing good is going to come out of that.
Let's get to the road first. Then we'll make a new plan of action.
Do we have to pass the hedge mage to get to the house to get to the road?
You will have to pass the house pretty closely, but the hedge maze you can kind of like skirt the edge of and not go near. You do see, both of you without a roll, that there is a man dressed in a t-shirt with black hair. He's kind of buff, and he's just kind of like sitting or standing, I suppose, on a balcony. There's several like balconies that lead up to the house. You imagine that they both have exquisite views of the large yard here. He is looking over the area. And if you want to move through this area, you might need, because you are not invisible. Additionally, you can also see that there's something down in the yard. It looks kind of like a construction site where they're unearthing something. There's a big pile of dirt. There looks like there's a tunnel entrance in the middle of this pristine yard.
All right. I will attempt to stealth. Stealth plus...
Stealth plus dex? Stealth plus wits?
Dex or wits, yeah. Can I use a willpower to add 3?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
I do not want to be bound. Two.
There's a moment as you get nearer and nearer to the house where there's this tree that is near you, and you step on one of its roots and the tree snaps and the whole thing falls. It was uncanny how much noise it made. You sense that there is some sort of magical presence nearby. And you see that while the figure who is down on the ground has not noticed you, there's another figure, a woman, standing in one of the windows of the mansion. Her hair platinum blonde, her face creased, and you can see her casting an awakened spell. Parallax, you have now reached the cliff that goes up to the apartment complex. There's a small worn path where some people have come down onto the rocks before, and you can take it up to the brick building.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to walk up that path. And one thing I'm going to do that I haven't done yet for some reason is I'm going to turn on my fate sight. Do you want me to roll for that, or is that just going to happen?
So you can first just do it, but then you can also roll if there's something that you want to examine with your fate sight.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm just going to trudge up this little worn out path, I guess, and hopefully get to that brick building.
As you go up the path, you see that there's the large brick building. It looks like an apartment complex, fairly nice. But there's also these two smaller stone houses here. They look like maybe 1 or 2 room houses, and both the apartment complex and the houses are fairly close to this parking lot filled with cars. There's space for maybe 50 cars, and there's around 20 or so cars parked here now. A few people mill about this area, some of them dressed in casual clothes, others dressed in what look like uniforms. With your fate sight on, you can tell that there's something about these people. It's like they have a destiny almost, but it's being squashed. It's like their potential is being removed. And you get an uneasy feeling with your fate sight up about this whole area. And then looking back, you can see from your heightened perspective that there's a mansion in the direction that both Mona and Ermengarde were walking. And there's a flare from inside that building. Something fateful is happening there.
Wonderful. Yeah, so I see that flare and I'm like, oh, shit. And I guess I'm going to start limping in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah, is there anyone, like any person between me and that mansion? Or is it just like an empty
The
stretch?
mansion is a decent ways from you right now.
Oh, okay.
Because essentially you climbed some cliffs, you got yourself separated. You'll have to walk down some cliffs in the woods, some height down into the woods, and then through trees. It looks like this whole area is actually been grown in such a way that it would be difficult to do, as if someone was separating that mansion from these apartment complexes with nature. You think that you could use a space spell to portal over there pretty easily, though.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that. Should have done this a long time ago, I guess. But yeah, I will portal on over there because I ain't living that far away. And luckily, portal is also a rote of mine.
So you can portal to some place that you can see, which you can see the mansion with 2 successes. With the -2 penalty. You can also portal directly to Mona with a -4 penalty. It would be less if you had something like her hair or her true name.
Yeah, I guess I don't know her true name yet. It's unfortunate.
You never will.
Reminded me the next time I see you to cast a thread on you, so that way we have a connection in that sense. But I will portal on over. Yeah, I will portal to Mona with the -4, but I'll use my pocket watch and my high speech merit as well. That's
Yeah, that'll add +4, so it cancels out your penalties entirely.
excellent. I'm trying to find. There it is, the portal spell. Yeah, I'm gonna do it like I'm behind the side of the building, so it's sort of out of the way from people from seeing.
Yeah. So you're gonna do it to the side of the building, or are you gonna do it to like the stony ground?
Yeah, like stony ground that's kind of close to Mona. Yeah, I guess I can't really tell from that far away, but all my goal is to be as close as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So
portal takes a mana.
I have it as a rope, so
even as a rope, portal takes a mana. It's
oh,
just
even okay, that's fine.
It's a costly spell to change your physical.
Well, let's mark that down before I forget. And so I got manipulation, investigation, and space.
Yeah, that's great dice.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And let's do it up. So let's say I got 1, 2, 3 successes.
Nice. So there's this thing in this game. You all know about rotes because rotes were in first edition. But there's another type of spells. If you see on your character sheet, there's a place for this thing called praxis. Now, a praxis is a spell that is attuned to your soul. And what happens is that on these spells, you can gain an exceptional success, which is like gain a positive condition or a point of mana or a point of willpower with 3 successes instead of 5. Is Portal a spell that's attuned to your soul, Parallax?
I'm going to say no,
Okay.
it is not.
So you do it. You appear behind Mona, and for a second, you even see Ermengarde flicker into your vision and then disappear, and you're standing in the woods behind them now.
Do I notice?
Wit's composure.
Two successes.
Yes.
Ah! You mean you could teleport this whole time? Ah!
Oh, and paradox. Are you absorbing paradox or releasing paradox?
I will absorb it.
Nothing happens. No paradox.
Can you teleport us into Boston? Back to Boston?
That would be difficult.
What do you need? What do you need to make it happen?
Oh, I would need a connection with a certain place to.
Here, I pull out the wooden crucifix. This belongs to Jane Paris.
On the first balcony level, there's like a path that goes around the house, and a large white horse casually trots riderless from around the corner. Then you hear the sound of a horn. Ermengarde, it's a hunting horn.
We might want to move quickly.
Yeah. Here, I hand Parallax the wooden cross.
What the hell was that sound? You seem to know what it is, Ermengarde.
It's a horn. There's a hunting party coming through. This is not the same as moving. And I start walking. I recognize I'm invisible, right? Like,
yeah, it's a little disconcerting. The plants along the ground move even though you don't see your limbs anymore.
All right. I guess, so I have the little wooden cross. Is that enough? Do I know that's enough to actually make an attempt at getting over?
Yeah, it's enough to make an attempt. It is a -6 penalty.
-6. All right. Oh man, that is going to be difficult. I will give it a shot, I guess.
Can I aid?
You can also add willpower to add +3.
Yeah.
And you can also add more points of mana. Every point of mana that you add to this will give you an additional dice.
All right, yeah, I'll use a willpower and 2 points of mana, so that gives me 1 additional dice. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let's see. So
so the willpower gives you +3.
Yeah, then the +1 because of the extra mana. So I have -1 overall from the penalty, right?
Yes, but are you using any of your tools to do
Oh,
that?
I am. Yes, I will be using basically the same as last time, high speech and my pocket watch.
All right, that'll take you 2 rounds, and ultimately it'll be +3 to this roll.
Excellent.
So, and also, are you absorbing the paradox, or are you releasing it into your spell? There would be 2 dice of paradox.
I'm going to release it this time.
Okay. You can also spend mana to lower the paradox dice pool. Just like you can spend mana to increase your own die pool, you can use it to subtract 1 from each.
All right, I will. Oh man, that'll be my last mana point. So I will. Yeah, I'll use my last mana to reduce the paradox by 1.
So 1 dice. All right. So you roll your dice pool. I'll roll paradox for you.
Wow. I got 1, 2. I got 3 successes. It's Portal to Boston.
The paradox does get a success, and the number of things that can happen with paradox is large. With 1 success, it typically would indicate a havoc paradox, which could reduce the reach of this spell or give a condition to the subjects of this spell. And I think I'm going to reduce the reach. So what happens is you reach out, you grab the other two. You see a woman stride through the double doors as you're doing this. She points directly in your direction to the man with the beard, who starts moving rapidly towards you, faster than humanly possible, you would say. There's something on him. And as he does this, those of you with mage sights up can see that his shadow becomes the shadow of a wolf. Then you flicker from existence.
Oh my
You
God.
reappear. You're standing on a road in a forest. You don't see Boston.
Does
But
it
what
look
you
like
do see is that there's a cross here. The cross is a memorial. It looks like for a car accident on this small rural road. You turn to gain your bearings, but you don't recognize any of this.
What did you just do?
Oh, he transported us through a portal. Where we are, I don't know, but these woods don't
Well-
look like the same woods.
Well, I mean, we're not being hunted anymore, so that's a plus, right, guys? Yeah, I guess.
I'm gonna clap you on the back. Good job, Parallax.
Outstanding. Am I still invisible?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me
Relax. Yeah, what are you going to say, Charlotte?
let me find out where we are.
A space spell could tell you where you are. And Parallax, what sight do you have up right now?
I just fate.
Okay. You feel a presence through your fate sight.
Okay. Is it a? Do I feel like it's a person?
Does feel like a person, perhaps, or a demon, something. A consciousness is here with you. And the woods begin to fill with a mist.
Is my prime set up?
Your prime sight is up.
Do I see this presence on him?
You don't see immediately any presences, but if he mentions it, you could roll to scrutinize this area.
Okay.
There's no active spell being cast, but yet the mist is rolling in.
How strange. This is not natural.
I'm gonna ask to Byron, where are we? What's going on?
Byron emerges from the skull and says, I'm not sure, but there's magic afoot. There's something coming.
Do I see this happen? Do I hear this?
No, you don't have death sight up. It's
Okay.
not an active magical effect. You hear her side of the conversation.
Can I investigate or scrutinize the mist?
Yes.
I scrutinize the mist.
Roll at a -3 penalty, your prime plus gnosis.
Can I look through my wrench?
Yes. It's not technically a spell. You're just examining something.
Okay. Gnosis. Prime. -3?
Yes.
Two successes.
With 2 successes, you can tell this is someone's nimbus. A spell is manifesting around you.
Oh. You guys, this is someone's nimbus. A spell's manifesting around us. Can I use one of my rotes and dispel the spell?
I think that you don't see the source of the spell or the target of the spell. I'm going to say that you cannot dispel it.
Okay. Is there any area where it's not misty, or is it surrounding us?
It's like the mist is rolling from all directions around you. There's like a circle of no mist around you.
Okay. Can I cast a force field?
Yes, you can cast a force field. You throw up a defensive barrier around you. I'm not even going to have you roll right now. We'll determine potency if it becomes relevant. You now add your forces dots to your armor, essentially. It prevents damage. With a shudder of the world, you can see that something has changed. Then, kneeling at that cross, you see a woman. It's the same woman from before. She has striking blonde hair. And she is praying at that cross. Suddenly there's a spell active on her, some sort of armoring spell, just like you have an armoring spell about you. But her armoring spell is time. And it looks, for all intents and purposes, as though she did not teleport here. She just is here.
All right, I'm gonna just limp on over to her. Is she still praying? Like that's
Yeah,
like
she
kneeling.
looks up at you as you walk towards her. She's you can tell that she's like middle age. She's got a striking look about her, though, very severe, pointed features, and a few lines of worry are on her face. She's dressed in riding boots, though there's no horse here, and she looks over at you as you approach appraisingly.
All right, I'm gonna give like a sort of nimble bow and be like, I go by Parallax, and I gesture to Mona and Ermengarde behind me.
Ermengarde's invisible.
Oh, sorry. I say this is Mona. She probably can see Ermengarde, and I'll be like, I'll say, we seek counsel with your provost.
What? No, we don't.
She
Lightly under my breath, bows anymore. I don't know if they hear it, but I can't control myself.
she nods her head and says, I am Blanchefleur, and I respect the right of hospitality and the right of crossing here, as I hope that you respect my right of sanctuary. Do you have any dots in politics?
Let's see. In politics, I have.
Or occult, actually. Politics or occult.
I do have 2 dots in occult.
All right. Anyone who wants can roll an intelligence occult check.
I also want to ask Byron if he knows her.
Are you going to like whisper this?
Yeah. Do you know her?
I don't know her, but she seems familiar. I've been from the land of the living, but I sense that I once did know her as a child, perhaps.
I got 3 successes on that occult check, by the way.
With 3 successes, you know of the Lex Magica. The Lex Magica is essentially the rules by which mages organize their societies, and the rules have, you don't remember all of them off the top of your head, but there are some rules that all mages are in theory supposed to respect. By invoking these rites, you know that she must be a member of the Diamond Orders. So she is the Mysterium or the Silver Ladder, the Guardians, or the Adamantium Arrow. She's probably not orderless, but it's possible that she just uses those rules that the conciliums have written up. What she is talking about are gold laws that apply to all mages in all situations, according to the Pentacle. There are also silver and bronze laws dictated by a city. But you're not like up on the Lex Magica. You don't know very many of the specific rules. You think that by invoking the right of sanctuary, she is saying that she has the right to defend herself if you threaten her home or act to cause it harm. But she also said essentially that she would treat you with respect and hospitality for being in her territory.
Excellent. I love it. What'd you say her name was again? It was
Blanche Fleur, which
Blanche?
means white flower.
All right. I say, well, of course, we respect that wholeheartedly. See, my friends and I have been not exactly sure how we ended up here. It's been a very trying past several days, and trying to seek our way back into Boston, if possible. And as you can see, I sort of gesture to myself, like, I mean, I'm very tattered. I got the bum leg now, and my suit jacket is totally ripped up. I'm like, you can see, we've, yeah.
You could progress down this road, and she gestures in one of the directions. Eventually, you will reach the gate to our family property. And from there, you'll find that cell phones will again work. You should be able to reach a cab if that is how you intend to travel. And her eyes kind of sparkle a little bit as she says that. But I could always call a car for you if you'd be willing to do me a favor in return.
And
Right,
what
don't
a,
trust-
We can call our own cab.
what favor did you have in mind?
Perhaps tea for an hour. There are matters that I would discuss with you, and it's been so long since I've been able to host such an interesting group. And as she says that, she looks directly at Ermengarde, who is invisible.
We should leave now.
Yeah. I'm gonna call our own cab. Parallax. I'm allergic to tea.
Allergic to tea.
Yep. It could kill me.
There are figures in the woods now. Through the mist, you can sense that there are other people closing around you, but they're already so close. How did they get this close without you noticing them?
Are they actually there?
With your prime sight up, yes, they are. And several of them, that one and that one over there, have some sort of awakened magic on them.
Does that mean they're sleepers, but they're currently awakened?
There are a couple of options. They could be sleepers who are unaware that they have a spell cast on them. They could be mages who cast that spell, or they could be this thing in between sleepers and mages called sleepwalkers. Sleepwalkers can't cast their own spells, but they can use magic items, essentially.
Okay. I mean, she gave us the option to go our own way. So I'm going to take that option.
And just start walking.
Did she really, though?
Why don't you do a
Social lines?
empathy. It's called empathy now.
Okay.
So it'd be a wits empathy check to read what she's feeling, I think.
Here.
Or you could roll a wits subterfuge if you think that she's lying.
No, I'll do the empathy. I got a 2.
With 2 successes, you can tell that she is willing to let you physically leave this place.
Mm-hmm.
She has made explicitly no promises of leaving you be after that, however. You sense that she is interested, obsessed, perhaps, with you. And mages are hesitant, you could say, to not follow their obsessions.
Okay.
Mona, we should go.
I don't know if she's gonna let us go though.
You are, of course, free to go, she says, responding to your conversation that you've been having in whispers.
Yeah, but you just told me she would let me physically go, but not mentally.
You think that she will let you go, but she might follow you or try to catch you in some way later on. It's like she wants you.
Yeah.
She wants you, and she's willing to let you go insofar as she's not trying to impede you right now.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna go. And I'm gonna start walking.
She steps forward to you, Parallax, and extends her hand in a dainty gesture.
Well, I guess I can't say I speak for them, but I would love some tea. And I sort of cross her arm, and I'm like, "Yeah, let's shall we?" And
Have fun storming the castle.
Hrodwulf, will you ensure that they reach the end of our land without incident? One of the figures steps forward. It's that man from before with black hair emerging from the fog. He nods and starts walking down the road. If you would follow my son.
Yes, thank you for your hospitality. I'm sure we will see each other again.
You can see, Parallax, with your fate sight up, that fate has broken here, and the two of you begin to walk on different paths. You can see Ermengarde and Mona's footsteps as they echo light patterns through this world. And you walk off to go have some tea. And that's where we're going to pause this session.
Yay!
So all mages have these things called obsessions. Has anyone taken steps during this session to fulfill your obsession? Because that would be worth experience. Yeah.
For me, finding out how things work, looking at like figuring out that the whole timeline is due to the evil Parallax casting a bad spell.
Yep.
One of them.
Yep, you gain a beat, and you can gain multiple beats for your obsessions. There's also aspirations. If you fulfill any of your aspirations, you also gain a beat. And aspirations are changeable, so if you'd like to change any of your aspirations, you can let me know now.
Have we returned to our timeline?
Yes, you have returned to your timeline.
Hooray! I gained another feat.
so one of my aspirations is actually one of the long ones, at least, is master time magic. And seeing sort of one of my motivations here is knowing that this floor person is a very powerful time mage. I'm hoping that I can maybe learn a thing or two from her. So would that count?
I would say that you haven't achieved that point yet. Actually, no, do it. It's an arcane beat. Sounds great.
Woo.
Yeah, why don't you change that to be pursue mastery of time magic.
Okay.
You also gain arcane beats or beats in general when you have dramatic failures, or the other thing that can happen is if you release paradox or have terrible wisdom causing sins. But none of you have done anything against your integrity. No murders today. Man, mages are so much nicer than vampires.
Yeah, we think a lot more.
And yeah, I hope that you've all enjoyed your time here. Yes, Charlotte.
Can I add a new aspiration, which is defeat evil Parallax?
Yes. Oh, kitty.
Kitty. He says hello.
Excellent. What's this cat's name, Trevor?
Azazel.
Nice.
He's about 6 months old, I think. Oh God. Ow, 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 ow. No claws, please. Okay.
To anyone who is watching or listening to this, please make sure to give us a like, subscribe, or comment to see what you like and what you'd like to see more of.
I just realized you took my cross from me.